The truth is that community association living might be carefree, but carefree is never free. The entire community association industry relies on hours of untrained volunteer time, and it also relies on reluctant homeowners to fund anything and everything. This precarious balance leads to a real sense of scarcity and tension between owners and board members at most associations. This is exactly the opposite of carefree. But we believe there's hope. So join us for some free training on advanced reserve concepts to help you get it right and to minimize your stress points.
Well, thank you, Paige, and hello, everyone. Welcome to today's program. For many of you who have attended previous webinars, it's great to have you back. Today, we'll be helping you polish your ability to make wise reserve decisions in this advanced concepts webinar. And I'm going to start out by telling you what brought me here today. It's the 71 Unit Association in Southern California. Some of you who know my background, know my story, know that shortly after buying into this association in 1982 as a young professional, I became president at my first homeowners meeting. That happened when the president resigned, and as the only homeowner in the meeting, they looked at me and asked if I'd like to be the new president. Well, I said, sure, thinking how hard could it be if it was something that they could just do and then step away from at a moment's notice. Well, I had a mortgage. I was high. I needed a roommate to be able to pay my bills. I bought a condo because it was the only type of home on the market I could afford to purchase, and I was done being an apartment renter. So at the end of the meeting, the treasurer came over to me and privately told me the association didn't have hardly any money. It was surviving month to month, and the roof had started leaking last year. So the association was in a financial jam. It was hard for me to digest the thought that I'd potentially bought into a home that was full of problems. It was going to cost me a lot of money. But 3 years later, after a lot of volunteer hours, working with other board members and rallying the homeowners, passing a special assessment, I sold my unit for a healthy profit. We were able to turn that association around and get it on its feet. And that was enough of a profit that I could buy a fixer-upper standalone home of my own. And I learned enough lessons about what got associations into this kind of financial jam and how to get out of that jam that I launched Association Reserves. So settle in, and I'll share some of these lessons with you today to help guide your association or the associations you manage safely, successfully, and responsibly into the future. It's important to understand that this entire community association concept of homeownership is fragile. It relies on untrained volunteer leaders like me back in 1982. It relies on the participation of owners to vote and the reliance on those same homeowners to fund anything and everything at the association included in the budget. And as I learned, owning real estate is expensive. So community association living is not the carefree living that it has been advertised to be. Mother Nature and Father Time are two powerful forces, and they ensure that there's constant financial pressures because of the ongoing deterioration that they cause. And that creates friction between the board, who's trying to lead the organization forward, and owners that are hanging on to that false promise of inexpensive and carefree community association living. So we have a delicate situation and we have friction just right at the base of it. Well, this is going to be an advanced session today. So we lay the foundation of reserve studies in other webinars, our Reserve Study Basics series. So if at any time you feel like we've skipped over something that you feel like you just missed, you can find that webinar recording and outline, actually many other resources on our website, reservestudy.com. As you can see, I've highlighted, click on resources, then webinars, scroll down, and you can see Reserve Study Basics is easy to find. But today will be all advanced tips, but we're going to keep it pretty simple and clear. Do more of the green check marks and fewer of the red X's. And that's going to be your scorecard moving forward. So what are you working with here? It's a lot of rejection, and you're trying to not do a song and dance like a used car salesman. You can see the typical excuses here, why some homeowners or board members may not want one. They're asking, what's it good for? Why should I care? It's not my problem. I don't want my dues to go up. So what do? Well, we're going to arm you with some good answers in today's program. And if you don't catch those good answers, by all means, ask them in the Q&A at the end, and I'll get to as many as I can what time allows, and I'll catch the rest in the written outline. So we do want you to be careful in your communication. Reserve study doesn't define the costs. Mother Nature and Father Time define the costs. Blame them. They're the bad guy in this story. A reserve study just lays out the plan to deal with these costs, the income against the expenses. Without a reserve study, you're going to pay those exact same costs, but you're just going to move from one special assessment to another, and that's no way to live. With a reserve study laying out the ongoing cost of deterioration, owners can pay their fair share of ongoing deterioration on an ongoing budgeted basis. Because if you take care of the present, the future takes care of itself, and you don't leave future homeowners or future board members, even future new board members like I was, in a hole that they're going to have to dig themselves out of. The reserve study profession is built on National Reserve Study standards. I'm not making it up here. This is not anything proprietary to the Association Reserves. And those standards define component selection, calculations, and terminology. A reserve study prepared according to national standards is going to provide you with good guidance, providing you a funding plan that provides for those inevitable, predictable, and huge projects in your association's future. Bottom line, it's going to provide for sustainability. Now, after the tragic collapse of Champlain Tower South in Florida in 2021, national best practice was updated to recommend a with-site visit reserve study at least every third year. And for a budget line item that is typically one of your largest, it's often 15 to 40% of your total budget, getting a regular update on how big that ongoing deterioration bill is for your association, a bill that is as real as any other bill that needs to be paid, that's a responsible plan, a responsible interval. And I'll include links to the standards and the accompanying explanation of the standards, has a bunch of calculations and examples in the outline of this program.
At Association Reserves, we make the present less stressful and the future more secure. If you want to join us in this mission, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment down below on what you'd like to see us address in a future video. Let's plan for your best future.